Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey everybody.
Well, we're back at it again with another episode without access. So thank you guys for tuning in for the second episode. Let's get right into it.
Part two.
Yeah.
All right, so for this episode, we definitely wanted to focus on getting involved on campus, specifically with clubs and organizations. So we just kind of wanted to dive into that a little bit deeper. Most of us are in organizations ourselves, so we just wanted to, kind of bring awareness to that, as well as maybe have a special guest later on that can also talk about their club. So we're super excited.
All right. Do we just want to go around and say what club we're a part of?
Mhm.
I can
Yeah.
go first. I am a member of PRSSA, which stands for Public Relations. Wait, Sasha, I should know this. Help me out.
It's Public Relations Student
Student
Society
Society of
of
America. Okay, America.
America.
That's what I was thinking. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
But it's basically for PR majors, but also for any majors. They're all welcome.
Yeah, so I'm also part of PRSSA. It's uh it's a super beneficial organization for people who anyone can join, like Ellie said, but it's super beneficial, especially for our comms majors and anyone in the School of Media Entertain not Media Entertainment, School of Communication and Media, which encompasses entertainment and media, or what is it? I'm sorry, I totally just
It's
blanked. We can cut this out.
journalism and emerging media, PR majors.
Yes.
Um, Jaden, what are you? Remind me.
Entertainment and media, right?
And then
Media
media.
entertainment. Okay. I
And
think
then
I'm like
also
in the
just like
wrong
communication
order.
in general. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm a part of that group as well. And I serve on the e-board as VP of Finance. So yeah.
I'm involved in two organizations and I also serve on the board. So one is Ladies of Distinction, which focuses on like women empowerment and we promote unity through events, community service, and fundraising. And we just like provide that safe space for all women to join. We don't discriminate, so really anyone can join, doesn't matter like which classification. And also the Secretary of Big Sister Little Sister, which focus on like mentorship, but we really aim for freshmen and like sophomores to like really guide them through college and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's sweet.
So throughout my tenure being here at college, I have joined, so I am a Spring 24 initiate of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated through the Tau Zeta chapter. Um, I've also been a coach for the girls or women's rec club team here at Kennesaw State University. And I've also been a part of the public relations committee of Kennesaw Student Government Association.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know we had
Maybe we've
that.
been pulling out on these clubs you were in.
You kind of forget.
Okay, so we're all really involved. Okay, you guys, I didn't know you guys were that involved. Okay, you're like coaching people and stuff, Jaden. Okay. And then
I'm
I knew about Ladies of Distinction, but I didn't know about the second group you're also part of. So that's nice. Do you
I
guys Oh, go ahead, Ellie,
no,
sorry.
sorry, you can go.
I was just gonna ask, like, how do you guys feel like balancing multiple things like that, like being involved? Like, do you guys feel
It's definitely kind of challenging because I am also a commuter student, but for the most part, some events usually fall on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's when I'm on campus anyways, but like
Mhm.
sometimes when we have events on the same day, it's kind of like flip a coin, so I just pick which one that I want to, show up for that day.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm more so curious. I feel like it's hard coming into college because sometimes like it's hard to hear about clubs. Yeah, there's like posters and stuff on campus, but sometimes it's just hard to hear. Like I know I heard about PRSSA from a PR professor because she was the one like kind of the faculty, what is it called? Like the faculty
Advisor.
advisor of
Mhm.
PRSSA. But like Jaden, when it comes to Greek life, I feel like it's just like a completely different kind of like sector of clubs and involvement on
Mhm.
campus. How did you specifically hear about like your specific fraternity or like what made you want to join them?
So I'll say like I do have family that's like Greek, they're part of the Divine Nine. Like my mother is in another sorority. She's a Delta. She's a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And then I have uncles that are Alphas. I have uncles that are Omegas. I have an uncle that's Sigma. So it was, it kind of ran like within my family. So I knew about it growing up, but it was up to me when I got here to go and like learn about it. And like I always had an interest in it and like knew that it was around, but it took me a minute to like figure out what actually resonated with me as far as what about an organization resonated with me. And even what about like that specific chapter on like campus, like what resonated with me or who I felt the most comfortable with and who I felt like, what I felt like was for me. But it took me a good minute to like really figure out everything about Greek life. But once I did, I knew what I wanted to do, honestly.
And then Mari, how did you hear about like your organizations on campus?
Mhm.
Well, I would say I found out like through a friend, like Ladies on Distinction, like the colors really like it's pink and yellow. So I was like, oh, like very good, it's pink. And then like I got to know the president as well. And I did my research on them. I was like, oh, like this looks really good. Like they had a good image around campus. But like my first e-board position was not VP. I got bumped up there. But my first one was like event coordinator. So I just seen like the org like it was kind of like lacking a little bit with events and just really like awareness. Like nobody really knew who we were like 2 years ago. So I just felt like I wanted to be event coordinator because I know like it's kind of like the main source of bringing in people almost. So that's why I kind of joined. I wanted to meet new people as well because I joined sophomore year, freshman year. I was a freshman. I would say, partying all that. I wasn't really worried about joining clubs, but I wanted to take it more seriously and just, actually genuinely meet people through like my environment I'm in every day. So yeah, so I joined.
So like, how were you able to manage? I know you said that you were like your first role was an event coordinator. How were you able to like learn and adapt to being within that role?
It was definitely challenging because I think like I have a creative side, so I feel like that's why I applied. But honestly, it was very challenging because like the crowd, we didn't get a large crowd all the time, or like things would just not go right. So I just learned through the like whole position, like I like that I tried this, but like it's not something that I want to continue to do in the spring. That's why I became VP because it's like, yeah, events is fun and all, but it's like there are some down days that come with that. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this, but I'm glad that I did it anyways.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Because
I'm sure it was
Sasha,
a great like learning experience.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, because do y'all all hoard or do y'all all hold positions on y'all's e-board or no? I'm trying to remember what y'all said.
I think we do, yeah.
Because Sasha, are your treasurer, right?
Yeah.
You're the treasurer. How did you
Hmm.
decide that you like wanted to not only just go to the meetings, but also like kind of be like hold a position on the e-board? Like, how did that process go down?
Yeah, so I'll start with the reason why I wanted to join PRSSA was actually strictly for, I mean, it is a pre-professional organization, so I really just wanted to like be able to be in an environment to strictly like learn and kind of get more confident because it directly correlates to my major. So I was like, okay, like what better way than to, be around a whole bunch of people who were doing the same thing. And I knew we were able to do like agency tours. We have a lot of workshops. So I went in strictly with that intent. And I've ended up like making a lot of friends along the way, which I look back at now and I'm like, yeah, this is amazing because, that's always great to make friends as well. But then when it specifically came to leadership, I think I just really wanted to like push myself because one, like a year ago, I was like, I need to stand out. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to start working to like, make our resumes look good. And I was like, okay, like, yes, leadership, like Amari said, can be like annoying at times because it's like, it's more work, but I've just been really leaning into the fact of like doing the uncomfortable to gain experience, get more confident, especially it's like when we want to be like later on down the line, like in our careers, we want to eventually hold leadership positions or like move up in that ladder. And so it's like, it's for me, it was like, what better time to try to have a leadership position than when you're a student. And it's like, it's okay to make mistakes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, this is the time that you're supposed to be learning. Like, we're students, like, that's exactly what it is. So I think for me, I was like, it's just okay to try it out. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do it anymore. I ended up loving it. And I really enjoy like just being more, in tune with the organization itself, but also just like it allows me to be more involved on campus in general. So yeah, that was kind of my thought process. So I started as digital media assistant when I first joined our e-board. So just doing all of our social media, like working with our website manager, stuff like that. And then I decided to become VP of finance or also treasurer, which has also been really helpful for me with learning because I've been doing a lot of stuff that I would have never, done any other time and all that. So I can just definitely like speak to that after I graduate. So yeah.
It's really good.
That's great. Yeah.
So
Jaden, oh wait, go, sorry.
I was gonna ask about you, like, what is your position?
I don't hold a position on
Okay.
PR, to say. I feel like my campus involvement came kind of through my on-campus job rather than a club, but we like won't get into that tonight. But I feel like I started going to PRSSA obviously because they always have good guests that relate to PR, which is always helpful. But also, I feel like when you first start going to college, it can be hard making friends in your gen ed classes because like you'll likely never see them again unless you guys like really hit it off. But I feel like the nice thing about finding a club that's like specifically for your major is eventually you'll start seeing those people in classes and all of a sudden like this big university really turns into like this really small world. I feel
Mhm.
like especially with PR majors, like we just all start kind of seeing each other and then kind of all become friends, which is nice. But
Right.
yeah. I was gonna ask more. Okay, wait. You're a coach for the rec center? What's happening?
So my sophomore year and junior year, I helped to coach the girls club basketball team. If that makes
Okay, that's fun.
so like basically we will hold practices. I think we had a tryout. We hold practices and then about a few times out of the month we would go to tournaments. So like we've been to tournaments like mostly in South Carolina. So we played against like we went to play against University of South Carolina, whose basketball team is really, really good.
Okay.
We played at Clemson, we played at Coastal Carolina, we played at Emory, but it was definitely an experience. It taught me like, cause mind you, I love basketball and I used to always play it, but like having to coach it is like a totally different thing, and it like really taught me a lot about like how to lead and like just seeing everything from a different perspective and like understanding what my coaches was going through when they was coaching me. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but it was definitely an eye opener.
Yeah, I feel like from working like freshman orientations, one of the most asked questions, like specifically about clubs from freshmen, is like how to get involved in rec sports specifically. So I feel like they play sports in high school and it's like, well, I'm not going to be on the official KSU team, but they're always interested in
Right.
specifically rec club.
And
Yeah.
it was a
I
lot
always
of
tell them,
girls that wanted to play. But like
mm,
the crazy part is that I don't know about now. I'm pretty sure now it's like it's kind of fizzling out. Like I know the team is completely fizzled out. Like after um like I was no longer able to coach and I don't think anybody picked it up, but like I hope somebody does, honestly.
yeah.
I feel like intramurals are like super important, um, especially for people like Ellie said who played sports in high school and stuff. So hopefully someone does. Aw.
Yeah.
What I was gonna ask was like, I guess for Mari and Jaden, like as people who are holding like leadership positions and stuff in our respective organizations and Greek life fraternities, what like would you like what advice would you guys give for someone who's trying to hold a leadership position?
I would say definitely join for the right reasons because I know some people try to join my org and it's like I'm not slow. I know why they're joining or like have a sense of why, but like later down the line they do it for a particular reason. and they drop. But it's like me, like as VP, I'm trying to like just look at people like who can actually bring something to my org and just actually be genuine with it. So I would say anyone that's interested, just like coming here with like with the plan and actually wanting to like contribute to the club organization because it is something that we give our peers on here on campus. Like we I don't have nothing to do. That's why the orgs are here to provide, for you to make friends and connections and stuff like that.
Right. I definitely agree with what she said. I do feel like, especially in college, like I get that people have bigger goals and you got to work your way up to certain things, but at the same time, like you want the things that you're doing, the e-boards, the groups that you're joining to be like genuine because
Hmm.
like you don't want to burn a bridge after you get to a certain place or like where you want to be. You don't want to like forget like where you came from or like the e-boards. And I feel like a lot of people do unfortunately do that. But I definitely agree with Mario on that. And then another thing I say is just like when you're joining these e-boards, like don't hesitate to like really just don't hesitate like in general because like from things that I've seen, I feel like a lot of people will like they'll join an e-board, but like they'll never really push themselves, even though
Mm.
joining an e-board may push you, but like you want to also push the org as well, like
Hmm.
trying to be innovative and trying to create new things that maybe the org has never done. And
Hmm.
you never know how it could play out. But if you're too timid, like you may have had this idea for a year for as long as you've been on the e-board and it's never happened. It could have been the best idea ever. So
Yeah.
just don't be afraid to like try new things or be innovative. Would be
I
my
would say, yeah, I would say also like be open-minded as well
yes.
because like on e-board in general, like you're on board with like other girls or other males, for example, and like mine is always like differences because we're all females, but it's like I try to lead with integrity and hear everyone out. Like, oh, if she has an idea, I'm a we're gonna do her idea because it's what she wants to do, and like if she has a good proposal for it, I'll accept it or whatever. But like definitely go in there with an open mind because you're gonna be around them, doing meetings, all that stuff, like creating events, things like that. And also there's e-board bonding as well. Like a lot of my friends that I'm close with now it's through my org. Like we literally go on trips together sometimes, girls' nights, all that good stuff. So it is some good in that than just leading events or things like that.
Hmm. I
And
definitely think it can lead to like relationships outside of your org, which is the really nice part about it, is you realize everyone's like really human. It's
Exactly.
yeah, like we can go have fun outside of this, which I think is so great and stuff.
Their
So, but
locations
Jaden, go
too.
ahead.
Mhm.
the last thing I was gonna say is just like of course, like we're in college and a lot of these clubs, e-boards, stuff like that, it's supposed to be fun, but at the end of the day as well, um, people do need to realize that this still is a business. All of
Hmm.
these organizations should be treated like a business and that you should take pride in whatever e-board, whatever organization you're in, because at the end of the day, that's a reflection of you. And
Hmm.
like, at least for me, while I'm like in whatever clubs I'm in, I don't want people to be like, okay, this organization had an event. Oh, the event wasn't good. Who's on the e-board? Jaden's on the e-board. That's a bad reflection of me. So make sure that for if you're interested in joining an e-board, an organization, whatever, like whatever you're doing, just and this is just in life, like take pride in it and make sure that like it reflects you in the best way possible.
Yeah, overall, I would say like just lead with integrity, like with or without a role, because you just never know, honestly. Just lead with integrity.
Most definitely.
I still also want to ask this question to Ellie because even though you're not on executive board for an organization, you do hold a super important leadership role in your on-campus job. So I kind of wanted you to talk about that too because I feel like that's super important and you do a lot of stuff. So I just want you to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I going the club route just wasn't really my like journey in college. Obviously, I go to PRSSA, but like I don't know,
Mhm.
holding an e-board position, I don't know, I just went a different route. So
Mhm.
yeah, I work for new student programs on campus. So I primarily work freshman orientations. And this past year, I got promoted to be what they call a student director. So I helped train the orientation leaders, and I was kind of like their manager all summer. And honestly, like just like joining a club, if you're gonna, I think working on campus is a great way to get involved. One, you get paid,
Mhm.
so that's obviously nice.
Mhm.
But two, it's also like a great way just to meet people, especially with like the orientation team. We're hiring like about 30 people every year. So it's like I meet 30 new students every year. So that was kind of a lot of fun. And I feel like you also learn so much about campus from those people's involvements. Like there's so many OLs who are involved and they're in clubs. And I just feel like it's also another great way to get involved on campus with you don't want to, or you can always do both, join a club, but also, if you're looking for a summer job or just any job, definitely check out campus. I feel like people forget that that's an option. You can work in the bookstore, which is a little like maybe less of a team environment. I don't know. I don't work in the bookstore. Can't really speak on that. But if you're looking for a team environment, there's so many departments on campus that even though obviously it is a job, so just like being on an e-board, we take it very seriously because it's a reflection of us, but also the university. With working orientations, we're like the first people that like new students see. So it's like we're making a really big first impression. But definitely, if you're gonna, we're definitely recommend an on-campus job. I feel like I've learned so much just about professionalism, and even though it's not really like has to do with PR, I ended up kind of tweaking it to be about PR because I ended up doing some things for our social media this past summer, which was a lot of fun. So
Hmm.
take on that.
I have a
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen your content. It looks so good.
Thanks.
I was gonna say, so like, what do you feel like has been like your biggest adaptation from being an OL?
Like, like from becoming a manager or just like being an OL like now on campus.
Or really, at least we could say becoming a manager.
I feel like it just taught me so much about leadership. Honestly, since high school, I hadn't really held like a leadership position. I was like captain of my cheer team in high school, but going into college, I hadn't, sought out like an e-board position or really anything like that. And it kind of came by surprise. I initially didn't apply for it, not because I wasn't interested, but I was just like, well, I don't know, like maybe I'll do something else the next summer. But they came and offered me the position, and I'm so glad they did. I absolutely loved being a manager this past summer. It just really taught me how to use effective communication, how to adapt, because instead of being the person who was being told what to do, I had to tell others what to do and like make last minute decisions. And I also think just working on campus in general has made me so comfortable with being on campus. Not only like physically, I know like where a lot of things are now because I gave like tours and I also had to find like shortcuts during the day, but I also just know so many people and I don't know. I feel like if that kind of answered your question, I like really loved being a manager. I like being that person that people can come to and like be able to provide them answers, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ellie, you ever thought about being a teacher?
My sister went to KSU to be a teacher actually. And like for a while I wanted to be a history teacher, but
I
yeah.
could see you as like an English teacher. Like you just gave me like the nutrient vibe, like
But
teacher
I think that's a
vibe.
That's
compliment.
funny, but I also feel like I see you so much doing like PR. Like you're like I just like no, I'm like gassing Ellie up. This is like the gas Ellie up day for
I know,
Sasha.
like what's going on? Like we're talking about clubs
No,
and I'm
but like
like
I
all
just feel like
fun.
I really see you being in like PR and social media. Like you're just so like natural and good with it. So like, but
Yeah,
you
I
do give
really
this
love
like
this route.
warmy, like teacher vibe at the same
I
time. Like
think
I can
it's
see
from
that, but
being a manager this past year because like I'd have to like present during
yeah.
the trainings and stuff. So maybe it comes from that. Also, my sister was a teacher and my mom was also worked in education. So maybe I'm just like used to
But in
watching.
your blood. But yeah, definitely social media marketing is definitely up your alley. Cause
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like that's all of us. I feel like we get the vibe. I feel like
yeah.
we're definitely all in the right major.
So I think we already kind of touched on this, but like, do you guys like also do feel like they were like our respective organizations and stuff were good for making friends?
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned this earlier, but like that's how I met you, Sasha. I like
Yeah.
randomly went to a club one night, randomly sat next to you, we started talking, and then the next day we realized we were in the same class together.
No,
So
it was so funny.
yeah,
I remember that day. I walked into class the next six. I was like, I really, we hit it off like that meeting. And then
yeah.
I walked in the class and I remember I was like looking for a place to sit and I looked Ellie dead in her eyes and I was like, oh, we didn't even
No,
know we
yeah.
were in the same class. So
No,
that was kind of
exactly.
funny, but
It's just a
yeah.
nice way. I mean, KSU's so big and it's only getting bigger. So I feel like it's just a great, like going to clubs is just a great way to like make a big university seem smaller, like I said
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, like I know one of my members back in January 2024, she was a member, but then she applied for e-board. And then we were literally on a trip together. Like we're so close now, and I'm close to other people as well, but it's like I feel like it's definitely the foundation of my college experience because I came in so shy and like only hanging out with my roommates. But like once I got involved, I was like, oh, like there's other clubs just like mine with other girls,
Mhm.
and I connected through them as well. So yeah, I do think if you're a freshman or a sophomore, try to join an e-board or just to become a member because you never know, like your life story might compare or be this exact same than the person right next to you. Because that has happened to me. And like you said, Kennesaw is so big, you just never know who you have so much in common with. So
I'll say for me, like it's crazy because my college experience has like done a whole like 180. Like my freshman year, I didn't know anybody or like I came in here by myself. I know a lot of people came like with friends sometimes, like they would have friend groups, but like I didn't have like a friend group. It was just me for real, for real. And so as like the older I got and like the more experience I got within college and just like joining these clubs, like I definitely have had the opportunity to meet a lot of people. And like being in a fraternity, like you do get to meet a lot of people and you'll end up knowing a lot of people, but it has its drawbacks because like everybody looks at you and you can't just have a chill day. You can't have a day where you don't like if you want to you if you don't want to be seen on campus, don't go to campus. That's just like you're always being looked at. So, but it definitely had it's like I've had a lot of opportunities to meet people.
hmm
Yeah, I didn't even join my organization till junior year, and it definitely made like such a difference. And I think just it can be really intimidating too to join an organization or even show up for the first time, even showing up as a member or not a member, but showing up to a meeting, it can seem so intimidating. But like once you just get past that first little hump, especially like that's kind of like my advice to any like freshmen or sophomores who might be like watching this is that I know it can be intimidating, but just do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just do it because you're gonna end up being so grateful that you did and you'll thank yourself. And like I said, I didn't join until junior year, and I'm just so thankful that even though like I was like kind of scared to go, even as a junior, I was kind of scared to go for my first meeting. It just made such a difference. And like I really do think like PRSSA has changed like my college experience, but also just like my career path. Like I have my internship that I have now because of going to a PRSSA conference. I've met so many like professionals and stuff. So it's just like, even without those things, though, like just even making connections with other people in those things, like networking is just super big for us, particularly being like communication and like media majors and stuff like that. So it's like, networking is like really our thing. So it's like, it just really set me up. And like Ellie said too, just worked on my professionalism. I've just met so many great people. So
That's
yeah, don't like hold yourself back by being scared.
Plus, like you can always go to a club and try it one night, and if you absolutely hate it, just don't go again. Like, like just go and see if you like it. If
Yeah.
you don't, then don't like force yourself to go again. Just try another one.
and I
Yeah.
think like one thing that we could all probably relate to, kind of like what Sasha just said, like going into a club or an event like for the first time and being nervous. And then when you get there and when it's all over, it's like, oh, it's not really that bad at all.
There's
Hmm.
always someone there who also has probably showed up alone as well.
But
Yeah.
and even to that, like sometimes like I think it is helpful like to have a friend go with you to make you feel comfortable
Mhm.
if needed. But I mean there's times where you can or do have to go by yourself. But
Yeah.
take off the training wheels. Like you just gotta go.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And I think also too, if someone makes you feel weird for putting yourself out there, then I'd be questioning why they're at a meeting. So,
True.
um, But yeah, so I'm super excited to hear from our guest though. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Okay, so our guest today, if you've ever been to a KSU sporting event, football, basketball, name them, they think they go to all of them, and you've seen like these guys in banana costumes on the side, and you're like, well, what is that? What do you, we're the owls? Why are we bananas? Well, I actually, through my on-campus job, met a banana boy this past year. He did not mention that when we interviewed him, but it was an added little bonus that we discovered that he was a banana boy later. So tonight we're interviewing a guy named Cole. He is one of the Banana Boys at KSU. He's their social media and treasurer manager. So we're just going to talk to him. And this summer was really interesting because he actually recruited some of our coworkers to be the first ever Banana Baddies. So we're going to get into all that with him, kind of talk about what that is and how they're trying to become an RSO. So yeah.
Great.
Well, we're definitely excited to speak with Cole here.
Hi.
Hi, we're here with Kovalu, and he is a banana boy. If you don't know what a banana boy is, you're about to find out. So, Cole, do you kind of want to introduce yourself a little bit and to explain what the banana boys are?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Cole. I am a uh, third year sports management major, and I am the second official KSU Banana Boy. We are basically an organization where we dress up in banana costumes and go to all the KSU athletic sporting events and just basically act a fool.
All right, well,
I love your voice. Like, I love your work.
I like,
So, yeah,
wait,
sorry, go
yeah,
ahead,
no,
Ellie.
no, Sasha, you go. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna ask, so when did this start? I'm sorry, my thing glitched. Did you say you were a founding person of the Banana Boys or no?
Yeah, I was the second member of the Banana Boys. So I think we started, it was 2023. We kind of unofficially started the previous football season because our founder, Matthew, he basically dressed up in a banana costume in high school and just did that as kind of like a homecoming thing. And so he had a banana costume, and then he was like, it'd be really funny if I started wearing this football games. And then I met him at football games, and I was like, this is really funny. Can I start wearing banana costumes with you at basketball games? And then we started wearing them at basketball game, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
Also,
That's
side note, isn't Matthew who started this, doesn't he now drive like the Oscar Mayer wiener truck, or what is it called?
Yeah, he did this past year. He drove the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile all across the country.
I feel like that's such like a good segue into like going from a banana to just like doing that iconic job. I just feel like that's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
wow. I love that. I love the organicness of it, of how it just, wow, he just really just put
Mm.
himself out there and it really caught traction.
It's still so bizarre to me that this all started from me literally asking if I could just wear a banana costume to a basketball game. And now, we're at this point.
Yeah, so like I are y'all affiliated with the athletic department? I know you guys aren't a registered student organization yet, but you're kind of like becoming one. Like what is y'all's official designate? Like are y'all like a brand? Are y'all a club? Like what are y'all? What are y'all?
So we're kind of like an unofficial club. Like you said, we're still working on becoming a registered student organization. That's still in the process. But we have a lot of ties. I mean, me personally, I do work in the athletics department in communications. Um, a couple of our members also have really good ties to the athletics department. Just being at all the games, we've made a lot of connections with all the coaches, with the athletics director, Milton. We have a lot of connections through the athletics department, and they usually like to help us out with all this stuff because we're bringing students into the games, bringing the energy at the games. So we usually like if we go to an away basketball game, they'll provide us with tickets. I know this past year, me and one of the other bananas went to a KSU basketball tournament up in Canada, and the head men's basketball coach offered to pay for our hotel room.
Mm.
So we got that all situated. So it's really been the athletics department has really supported us. through this entire thing and through becoming an unofficial from being an unofficial club and hopefully soon becoming an official RSO at KSU.
I wanted to ask, like, what are you guys' impact here on campus? Like, what's the impact you guys are trying to make? Because it seems like you guys are like getting a lot of love from the athletic department, like you said. So, like, what's the end goal here?
I think our original reason for starting this was we saw the culture of KSU back in the day was really just, you know, you come for 2 years, you transfer out to UGA or something else, and no one was going to any of the sporting events really. Even the people who were at the sporting events weren't being like super loud. So I think our whole mindset was we want to bring that energy that you see, like if you go to a UGA football game or you go to any other like larger university, you see the energy that all the students bring. We kind of wanted to bring that and jumpstart that. And I think we've done a really good job of doing that so far. I mean, I can personally speak that the student section in the football games this season has been insane. So just getting everyone into this and kind of changing the culture, in not just in athletics, but just over the whole school. Just trying to get involved and wherever we can. We try to involve ourselves in every single capacity of KSU, not just athletics. We go to different clubs. I know we briefly had the Filmmakers Club. We're working on a documentary about us, which is also bizarre. But just kind of getting involved with all parts of campus. And also, we've gotten some contacts with local Atlanta area teams. I know we had KSU had Braves had a KSU night the other earlier this year, so we went to that. We got discounts on tickets for there. There are also some like minor league baseball teams and some other like local Atlanta area teams that have reached out to us to come out to the game and kind of bring that level of hype. So not only getting involved at KSU, but just the whole Atlanta area and getting our name out there.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's great. Y'all really
Yeah.
have a
No, I
partnership.
love that. Yeah. And that's so true. I feel like you guys have really changed the energy at the games and everything. So I definitely try to base where I sit on the proximity to the Banana Boys to get all the good vibes. So
So like, were you like nervous for like your first time like stepping out as like as a banana boy?
Most definitely. It was still kind of like really nerve-wracking, but I think the banana costume and you know occasionally we'd wear like sunglasses and stuff. It kind of worked in like I like to call it like the Batman effect or the Superman effect. Um, because it's like I can put on this banana costume and these sunglasses, and I'm just like a whole new person. I still to this day I think outside of outside of the bananas, I've been recognized like one time, even though, you know, we don't wear any like mask or anything, like all of our faces are fully exposed. Um, I've been recognized one time, and that was by a photographer for the sports team that took close-up pictures of our faces. So it's definitely a little bit nerve-wracking at first. But you know, over the years, you've kind of gotten a little bit used to it. It got me more out of my shell. And now I can just go out there, banana or not, and just act a fool.
Mhm.
it's giving like Hannah Montana vibes. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
you're like a
Exactly.
completely different person and no one knows who you are. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's really cool.
Speaking of like hype and like the energy of the student section, I will say like sitting behind y'all at one of the games, obviously like y'all aren't too nice because you know you gotta, you know, make up some fun cheers, but you also aren't like mean. I feel like the Banana Boys kind of like have to toe the line between being like professional but still like cheering for KSU. So do you guys have like specific rules that you have to follow? Like versus like you see what I'm trying to say? Like do y'all have specific rules for like
Mhm.
how you can cheer?
Absolutely. We actually have a full like constitution and bylaws that we have to abide by through, you know, a lot of our constitution is basically just making sure it outlines like how to become a banana and the whole process of doing that, kind of trying to make it a little bit more formal. But it also outlines, you know, our behavior We even have a new disciplinary board. So if anybody starts acting crazy, then we can take the further steps. But we like to say you can heckle and everything and be a part of the game, but don't like make it personal. Don't go over the line and stuff like that. Because we don't want to get any trouble. We don't want to cause KSU any trouble. We just want to go out there and have a fun time. Heckling is always a part of it, a little bit, but we don't like to. There's a certain line that we don't like to cross.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of like how to apply to be a banana, I know this past summer working with you on campus, you were kind of recruiting people on our team. And sort of the interesting part of that recruitment was y'all were recruiting girls, which obviously the name indicates banana boys. But now y'all kind of unveiled what y'all calling the banana baddies. How has that kind of been like with trying to recruit maybe a more diverse group of students to be a part of like the banana multiverse? How's that going?
Yeah, we actually are having a meeting later today to actually talk about possibly like changing the name. But for the longest time, we were known as the Banana Boys because it all really started off where they were doing some ESPN broadcast and they panned over to us and the announcer said, the Banana Boys are all going all crazy. And then it just kind of stuck with us from there. But I think in our first like year or two of being the Banana Boys, that kind of hindered us a little bit because obviously we'd like to have as many bananas as possible. And I think the stigma of being the Banana Boys made everyone think, oh, well, you have to be a boy to be a part of the Banana Boys. And we kept having to say, no, anybody's allowed to join. So talking with some of the orientation leaders over the summer, just kind of getting their opinions on it, because I know there was a couple of girls on the team that wanted to join. And I was like, what do you think we should do? And they suggested the name Banana Baddies for all the females and stuff like that. And so I was like, why not? That makes it. So I think we're currently working on trying to generalize the name a little bit. I think the name, just the KSU Bananas or the KSU Banana Bunch, has come up a couple of times. So just trying to distinguish that from the Banana Boys and the Banana Baddies, but we're still one whole group. But I know that sometimes people aren't really comfortable, calling themselves a banana boy or calling themselves a banana baddie. So giving them the option to, choose their own name, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wanted to ask, like, do you guys plan on, like, say, like, like, what if we don't want to become a member, but like us as students still like support you guys at games and stuff like that? Do you guys plan on creating like merchandise for KSU students at some point, maybe?
We definitely have talked about it in the past. We did actually get an LLC for the Banana Boys back in the day because our original plan was to start making merch. But just looking through, production values and all that stuff, we figured it was a little bit more important to try to focus on growing our organization first. But now, especially with, we just got a sponsorship with Uptown Cheapskate, the thrift store, they reached out to us and they were like, we want to fund you guys so that you guys don't have to worry about, money or monetary value when you go off to trips, when you are buying bananas, any of that problem they wanted to cover that for us. So I think starting with that, just starting to make merch, put it out there. I know there's a couple of rules that we got to work around, especially when coming to an RSO. But I think it's definitely been something that has been asked about by a lot of friends and family and people that just sit around, because we usually have I don't want to say like a group that usually sits, but we have like a couple of people who consistently come to a lot of the KSU events and sit around us. And they've always asked, hey, can I get some? They may not want to be a part of the bananas, but they still want to support the bananas in some way. So we've talked about possibly making, hats or T-shirts or something something smaller, anything like that. But it's definitely still a work in progress that we've been going through.
Yeah, I wanted to also bring up, I know you said previously that you guys are like an unofficial club, but you guys are trying to work towards becoming an official RSO. Have there been like any challenges with it, or has it just been a matter of just starting the actual process?
There's definitely been a lot of challenges trying to get the process started. Obviously, there's a lot of restrictions and requirements, like you have to have a constitution, you have to have a faculty advisor, you have to
Mm.
have a certain amount of members, you have to do, and they also have some specific rules about sponsorships too, which that was one of our biggest concerns was sponsorships and how that would work out. But through talking with the RSO office and everything and finally talking with the athletics department, try to get a faculty advisor. We've kind of worked through a lot of those issues because our biggest concern has always been, we're kind of representing KSU as a whole, but we're not an official KSU organization. So if we start, for whatever reason, we start causing trouble for KSU, they could easily shut that down for us. Whereas if we become an RSO, um, there's a little bit more leeway there. There's also been a couple of concerns brought up about, our actions at at KSU events, and if there's going to be any restrictions placed on us because of being an RSO. But I think working through that and reading through, the handbook and through a lot of discussions, we usually have like monthly meetings to talk about these sort of things. We've worked through the process and we're very close to becoming an actual RSO.
Well, nice. Thanks for listing out the pros and cons too, because I was gonna say, yeah, like is there kind of
Mhm.
like weighing the option with that, but yeah.
So
Mhm.
like I have another question, like, so for someone that's like very involved on campus, like what advice do you have for students who like want to get involved but like don't know where to start?
Um, I'd say just kind of go with first think about your interests because I think we have like over 300 different clubs for any single interest that you have. But my other thing of advice is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I always hear people complaining and they're like, I don't, I feel like Casey's not very welcoming. And I tell them, I'm like, you just got to put yourself out there. You got to take the first step because most clubs are not going to go out there and try to recruit you. You got to go out to them. So I think the biggest thing in getting involved on campus is just kind of putting yourself out there, being vulnerable. And it's a really hard thing to just say, yeah, go out there and do yourself. But it really is that simple as just, talking to people, going to the involvement fairs, going to all the different events, even if you want to like go with a friend or something like that. There's always some event going on and there's always someone who wants to talk to you. Just put yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great advice, especially as someone who's definitely put themselves out there as a banana and it paid off. I mean, you obviously are becoming even more successful by the year, so that's great.
Well, thanks so much, Cole, for meeting with us because this has been a really great topic, honestly. I love even like hearing the inner workings behind the scenes because, we just see you guys at the games. And so there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes. So it's great that you guys have hit a lot of success with it.
Absolutely. I love talking about the bananas any chance that I get and explaining kind of all the different details of the bananas.
But I'm glad that we got to speak with you.
And
Thank you.
thank you guys for interviewing me.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
Thanks for supporting Owl Access. So,
Yeah,
all right. Well, hopefully we will see you at the next game. Well, we will. So I'll make sure
Sure.
to say hey.
absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Owl Access Podcast. Be on the lookout if you're not following us on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. It's at owl.access on all platforms. And check out our recent blog posts because we're trying to write more blog posts. So, yeah, thanks for following along. Bye.
Bye. See you
Bye.
later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.